Hi, I'm Dr. Barry Duncan, and this is the 6th of 7 videos about the Partners for Change Outcome Management System, or PCOMS, and why you should consider implementing it with your clients or agency. This video discusses how PCOMS incorporates the known predictors of ultimate treatment outcome, early change, and the alliance. Remember in the last video about the common factors, we talked about the power of the alliance and all the studies that support the connection between a good alliance and a positive outcome. Given we already covered that, just going to briefly say,
surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
That there are over 1,000 research findings that find this powerful relationship between a strong alliance and a positive outcome across discipline, across modality, across type of treatment. However you can think about this, the quality alliance is a predictor of ultimate treatment outcome, and it's even predictive when early change is controlled. And in fact, we don't want to leave the alliance to chance. We want to apply those 1,000 studies of the power of the alliance by tailoring the service to client expectations and preference and cultural worldview via the use of the session rating scale, giving it the respect that the alliance deserves. But I want to spend some time talking about the other predictor of ultimate treatment outcome that not very many people know or talk about, and that is early change. And in fact, the client's subjective experience of early change is the best predictor of success for any particular pairing of client and therapist. This has been around for a long time. I love this quote: if a man will kick a fact out of the window, when he comes back he finds it again in the chimney corner. And that's really the phenomena of early change. So let's look at it as it's evolved over time. From the pioneering work of the late Ken Howard to current sophisticated investigations using the very latest statistical methods, studies reveal that the majority of clients experience the majority of change in the first 8 visits, and they begin change right away if indeed they're going to benefit from the service being provided. Remember the TDCRP that I've talked about a few times throughout the course of these videos, the Treatment of Depression Collaborative Research Program. Here are the 3 treatment conditions: antidepressants, interpersonal therapy, and cognitive behavioral therapy. And you see that in all 3 treatments that change was early indeed. And what people don't realize, that change is early if it's going to happen. If change doesn't happen early on the process, it's very likely that it will never happen. Clients don't traditionally flatline and then have an epiphany and change. This research about early change is really a gift, because those who report little or no progress early on will likely show no improvement over the entire course of therapy or will drop out of the service. So early change predicts engagement in therapy and a good outcome and termination. And it provides a tangible way for us to identify those folks who we should be worried about so we can do something different with them. And of course, that's what the outcome rating scale of the Partners for Change Outcome Management System is all about. It allows us to rate whether or not the clients are progressing and know early on whether they're not, so we can have that very important collaborative discussion with the client and turn things around. But what many people think is that, gosh, well, some clients take longer. And you know, that's absolutely true. In fact, if you look at different studies, 1 in 4 to 1 in 5 clients take longer than that 8-session benchmark that I just mentioned to you. But importantly, they take longer for change to plateau, not for it to start. I want to tell you a little bit about this study and this graph because it really makes this point well. The top graph is the typical trajectory of change that you see in all outpatient settings. And this is done with the OQ45. So on the OQ, it means when the scores are going down that the client is improving. And you can see once again that the majority of change happened in the first 6 to 8 sessions. Now I want to bring your attention to the graph on the bottom here. And what these researchers did, Baldwin and his colleagues, back in 2009, they did something that hadn't been done before, and they stratified these trajectories based on how long the person was in treatment. And I want to call your attention to the top curve here. And these were people that were in service 20 sessions or more. And I want you to notice that the curve is slower and flatter. But when does it start? When does the change start? Even for those longer term 1 in 4, 1 in 5 clients, it starts right away. So the conclusion,
We want to get to the point, mister. Now what is it? What are you trying to tell us?
Is that early change an important factor in the prediction of short and long-term outcome with short and long-term clients? And that study, that Baldwin study, inspired me to take a look at over 400,000 administrations of the ORS, the very trajectories that we use in Better Outcomes Now. And what we did is we separated the trajectories from those clients who were in service for 1 to 8 encounters. So we have trajectories for those clients, but we also looked at all those clients that went in longer, up to 18 sessions, and this covered 97% of all clients who entered services of those 400,000 administrations. So we're able to look at trajectories not only for the 3 and 4 or 4 and 5 clients that are there for 8 or less, we're also able to look at those clients that stay in therapy longer. And once again, you see here that change happens early. It predicts the same early change even for longer term clients, even though the change is slower. This sudden epiphany aspect is a myth. Clients do not flatline and then spike. Now, I'm not saying that's never happened since the beginning of psychotherapy, but it doesn't happen very often. Some clients do take longer, but the change happens right away. So the question remains, when do you start getting worried when your clients aren't responding? I vote for sooner rather than later, and that's what PCOMS is all about. And don't forget about those 250 free resources at www.betteroutcomesnow.com. And if you're there, check out the new PCOMS manual, your all-in-one resource for PCOMS.